Mother lovers, how you guys doing? This is Jan Kasparek, broadcasting from Studio 420 in Vancouver, eating blueberries. It's a beautiful day. I'm here with my latest creation, Bitcoin Night. And I'm actually gonna show you how I created it. It's the first time I'm doing this. It's gonna be my first time lapse. A huge step outside of my comfort zone. But I have a commitment to my mastermind group, Wicked Weasels, to post something on YouTube before Wednesday. And it's Monday, it's Labor Day, nobody's working but me, but this is how we roll. Before I dive into it, and as you can see, I will slide, or I already slid to the corner so that you can see how I am creating the piece. Why would I paint anything Bitcoin related? Bitcoin, speculative asset. Well, beyond being a speculative asset reflected in some kind of dollar value, Bitcoin is actually much more than that. It is a decentralized network and a payment system, the only decentralized money that we have on planet Earth right now, that is actually the promise of something that can dethrone the centrally controlled banking system that we have in place, and that makes little slaves pretty much out of every single one of us for the benefit of few. It is stealing from us by inflation and by printing money into infinity, backed by absolutely nothing. So Bitcoin was that one missing piece of freedom that came with internet, the freedom to communicate, the freedom to access information, and now with Bitcoin, that one missing piece, which was the freedom to financially transact between humans without third party telling us, yes, you can do this, you cannot do this. Now we have this freedom. It's the first time in the modern history, probably first time in human history, we can just like, hey, I'm gonna do my business the way I see fit. I'm gonna receive and send money the way that I see fit. And now we have the asset, which is not centrally controlled. It cannot be inflated into infinity. Somebody cannot just take it over and say, you know what, I'm gonna print another billion Bitcoins. But there is better people than me to explain all that. There is awesome sources of information on internet. What I recommend is a short documentary, just half an hour, Bitcoin Beyond the Bubble. It's free on YouTube, look it up. Some of the presenters there are my friends. Amazing stuff. You're gonna understand and love Bitcoin after watching it. There is also crypto channels like Crypto Channel of my friend Omar. Awesome stuff, follow him. I'm gonna leave it in the notes. And my buddy Arcane Tijo, who we will talk about when we dive into this painting. So let's do it right now. Let's dive into it. Let's see what this Bitcoin Night painting is about. And it is actually also a collage. As you can see, there's some real dollar bills that I cut and made them into these chains, which are bounding the earth. And the slogan on the sword, decentralize everything, empower everyone. Amazing slogan that I borrowed from Tijo, from Arcane. The Bitcoin logo at the pommel of the sword is encasted by 24 karat gold. So is the writing. I like using genuine gold. And what the knight is actually doing, he is cutting the chains that the fiat currency and the central banking system has wrapped around earth and made rats who just follow the system endlessly out of every single one of us. So now we have that opportunity to end it. And I really hope from my heart that we're gonna make the wise choice of stop feeding the system passively or actively that is really suffocating this planet. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jan Kasparek, originally from Czech Republic, now Canadian. I am a professional full-time artist. I sell art worldwide. And my mission statement is to create art that elevates the frequency of this planet. That is indeed how we can get out of the mess that we created. We can't fight fire with fire. We have to stop the vicious loop. We have to act out of a place of love, of consciousness, and awareness. That's the way out, how to make the system collapse and create something better out of its ashes. If you like what I do, if you can feel the message in my work, also in my other work, hit like, Subscribe to my channel. It's gonna motivate me to create more time lapses, to show you more of my work. Leave a comment. Even if you don't like it, I'm open to every criticism. This is it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. Eat some blueberries, be creative, and be peaceful. Peace. See you guys. Boom! And here I am, back again. I realized the time lapse is still 15 minutes long. Wow, look at these geese. Cool, huh? Yeah, so it's 15 minutes long, and while you're watching me create this painting, maybe I can talk a little bit more about what I actually do in life and why I do it. So I told you that my mission statement is to create art that would elevate the frequency of this planet. What does that really mean? Well, through years and years of meditation and introspection and contemplation and really sitting in silence and asking myself the question, who am I? Lots of clarity came to my mind over time, and it came in sudden realizations, as it always does in quantum leaps. And I came to realize, at least from my understanding, that this world really is 100% reflection of our state of being, of our minds, of our thinking patterns, and of the vibration that we put out. So the whole concept of blaming something, even the governments or whatever it is, Trump or whatever is your favorite victim or somebody that you don't like or an institution that you think is detrimental for this planet. Fair enough, might be detrimental, but it is still something that came, that materialized, and that was allowed to came to the material plane because we allowed it to be so, by the way that we think and by the beliefs that we sustain in our minds. And that leads to one very fundamental aspect of my spiritual journey, that is the word responsibility. Like, it's so important. It's so essential to actually take responsibility for the state of the world. Because first of all, you have to take responsibility for your inner state. Like, we react more than we act with awareness. We are mostly a bundle of past conditions, and we answer to situations by learned, pre-programmed loops in our heads, which has got nothing to do with our higher self. So by taking responsibility of our own inner state, how we feel, what happens to us, even things that are seemingly accidents or coincidences, if we take responsibility and say, hey, somehow I created this, somehow I attracted this event, this person, this accident into my life. And that's the game changer. That was definitely the game changer for me. I was an extremely negatively thinking person for most of my life, for as far as I can remember. When I lost my innocence in my late childhood, I would say maybe 11, 12 years old, I was stuck in a lot of trauma and drama and pain and this and that, and things happened that made me, after army, right, especially in its 5 years, and lots of pain, and it conditioned me to be in survival mode and predominantly negatively thinking person. It took me long time, at least decade, I would say maybe even 15 years, to finally crack that nut and to take my own personal responsibility for the way I feel and for everything that happened to me. Once that happened, the great layer of that was my own responsibility for the state of this world. Because things that you hear, those kind of like new age concepts like, hey, we are one, oh, there is only now, eternal now, and all these things, they're actually true. Like, we are one because we are vibrational beings, and the whole universe is a vibration, right? You cannot separate one vibration from another. It's all permeating each other. So once you realize that and you take responsibility for your inner state, you can't help but see that you have your part of responsibility for the state that the world is in. So if you If you don't like the way that the world is, the change begins with yourself. And you have had it a million times before, but very few people actually act on that. We are so conditioned to point the finger of blame and go to the street and shout our discontent with this and that, instead of sitting on our ass, dealing with our own karmic stuff, with our reaction that come up, and elevate our frequency by awareness and be creating from a place of unconditional love. And this is the real change that you can bring to the world. And all of a sudden, you're a person who is able to smile back at somebody who attacks you, or somebody gives me a fishtail in traffic, or those usual triggers, like some arrogant people, aggressive people. And instead of reacting, you start giving them love. And the change is so immediate. It changes your own world, your inner environment, and then your surrounding, your life so quickly. And you're like, damn, I create this world, I create this reality. There's no such thing as reality. It's just some of our individual consciousness adding up to collective human consciousness that creates this planet Earth in the state that it's currently in. So we have political institutions that have zero interest in free humanity, in fairness, in fair trade, in class equality, all this. They have zero interest in that. But why? Because we still go and vote for them, for thing A against thing B, obedient little slaves, just like, okay, I don't agree with this, but I'm still part of the system, actively or passively. Actively by voting and by vaccinating your kids and doing all those things that you don't actually have to do. Maybe vaccination is a bad example. Let's get it out of here. It's got a lot of enemies in the mainstream. Not that I care. Love back. I love my enemies. But let's say actively supporting the system by being part of it. Actively doing all those steps that they told us, our leaders, we have to do. Bullshit, who are they? And then passively, by thinking, even if you don't participate, lots of people still think like, this is the way it has to be, and it's just the way it is, and I can't change anything because I'm alone. I'm just one individual. Well, that is the passive sustaining of the system by your beliefs, because this whole system actually only is still in place because we sustain it with our minds. If 10% of population woke up tomorrow and they said, you know what? Wow, this world is beautiful. I'm not going to my bullshit job that doesn't create any value. I'm gonna go tend to my garden, dance with my neighbors, and just spread love for one day. If 10% of people on Earth did it for one single day, I guarantee you would see a spiritual revolution and a quantum leap of consciousness on Earth that would bring so much change that people can't even create with their mindset, with their limited mindset. We can't imagine paradise on Earth because our mindset is so rigid. It's made of concrete. It's made of limitations, of walls. Look at the mind of a child. For a child, it's very easy to imagine paradise on Earth, but we have become so rigid. And this has been the huge journey for me, to take my own responsibility for the way I feel, and then the collective for my part of collective responsibility for the way that things are in the world. And instead of reacting to it, I'm acting from a place of acceptance. This is perfect universe. What is happening right now is happening for a reason. And if I want to change it to a better place, the only way is that I elevate my own inner state, my frequency, and I pay back love. I pay back non-love with love. I love my enemies. I'm not a fan of politics, but I don't hate anybody in this world. I don't hate anybody back who hates me. It's just something that we have to start practicing as people. Sit down and ask yourself the fundamental question, who am I? If you sit down long enough and you stay calm in silence, as much out of the thinking mind as possible, it's only a question of time before and it all clicks together, because you will vanish, and what you will melt into is a quantum field of consciousness that some people call God, that will shower you with such an intense bliss and understanding and love and joy and peace that you will realize instantly that there is not one single problem on earth. And the whole cosmos is not one single problem only in human mind. This is the cure for all the diseases, for all the drama and all the pain, all the human suffering on earth, is overcoming this and acting out of here. Okay, well guys, train is passing. It's getting a little bit noisy and dark. I hope I wasn't ranting too much. It was very spontaneous. I haven't prepared any of it. Thank you for listening. I hope you liked my time lapse too. Much love guys. Hope to see you soon. Peace.
Comprends-tu maintenant ce qu'est la force obscure?
La force? Oui, la force.